Bing! And we're live. It is AtlanticScrum. We've got some people in the house, including me. I will switch my brain into gear. So yeah, it's the AgileVentures stand-up. We'll just go round. I guess we'll start with me. Updates from my side. I've just had the Beta Stars Autograder meeting, which is for one of the AgileVentures projects. The instructors around the world are using the new Autograder software. There was a bit of downtime with that. They're being connected up with some of the other developers, so that seems to be under control. Basically, everything under control there. What else do we have going on? We have Isabella as well. Isabella, I'm just going to mute you. You've got some background noise. Just mute you there. We've got a nice full house of lots of people. Other things happening include local support, new pull requests, client meeting on Thursday. Yeah, we've got the Ronin folks ripping up a storm, doing us, a prototype of the new charity site. We'll look forward to hearing from them about that. That's about the size of it from me. I guess we've got Chris and Tofi and Isabella, who may also all want to be doing the AV102 and voting on some stories. Shall we just check in? Josh, you were the representative of the Roniners yesterday and the Website 2 team, or you may have come up with a different name. Are you still the representative? Has there been a coup? Have we got a new person who's going to represent? He is, right, Josh. Yeah, do you want to just give us a report in? Yeah, how are things been going? Give us just obviously we can talk in more detail after the end of the stand-up, but just give us a little summary of how things are going with you guys.
Yeah, we spent quite a good portion of the morning trying to decide on a decent layout for how we want the front end to look, just so we knew. We set up the rails and set up all the back end so that we could sort of split off. But after talking with Sam, he's recommended not necessarily splitting into just front end, back end. So at the moment we're sort of mob programming all of the database, and we'll get it so that we're actually showing a showcase.
Okay.
So yeah, that's where we're currently at.
Okay, cool. And is there anything particularly blocking you at the moment, or it's just generally moving along?
It's generally moving along.
That's what I'd like to hear. Excellent. Okay.
I just have a question. Sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Winnie.
Basically, so how important is it that the one that we're building for the charities kind of imitates the one that already exists in terms of appearances, just like color scheme, etc.?
That's not important at all.
Okay.
It's not required. I mean, it could be if that was what you wanted to do, but I don't. But
would that be advantageous at all, or could we just kind of go crazy with it?
Well, let's maybe should we take that to the end of the stand-up? That's
sure.
So we'll finish up the stand-up and then we can carry on and we'll get to that. It's a good question. Good question. So we've got Christopher. Yeah, let's just do for Chris and Tofi and Isabella, who I assume are all here for AV102, is voting on a story, which will go to LocalSupport. And I know some of them can't use their audio, so we'll do this through chat things. All of you, I think, should be also in the AV102 distributed teams. Let me just pull up. I know people's time is short. Let me pull up the pivotal tracker for that. So what we've been doing in the stand-up spot of training people for participating as teaching assistants in the MOOC and also for being involved in AgileVentures and just for general understanding about working with these distributed teams is doing this kind of thing that normally would happen in groups of developers working on the same project over time is voting on stories. And so everybody should be familiar with pivotal tracker. All the Ronin folk saw that was the wrong button. Saw this happen the other day. We've got one. This would be great to get this done. We've got so we've actually broken out here. We've got another part of this story which relates to volunteer operations in this is the Harrow Community Network, the LocalSupport software. And so the idea here is a bit of an exercise. And I press that button there. You should come. There we go. So we've got this list of charities in northwest London, and we also have volunteer opportunities as well. And at the moment, there's no functionality to delete them. Now, the story we voted on yesterday, which we ended up giving 2 points to, is adding the ability to delete volunteer operations. That's a button that would allow the admin or the administrator of the individual organization to delete any volunteer opportunities associated with their organization. And so we gave that 2 points because basically that would require like I said, would it necessarily require a database change? Not necessarily, but it's actually, there's an interface component to it, and we've got a second part of it, which is like making those volunteer opportunities paranoid. As in, there's a Rails gem called Access Paranoid, which basically adjusts the database so that you can sort of check things as being not available. So the idea here is that we're going to do a quick kind of vote on how complex we think this story might be. The first thing to do, and we'll maybe do this in chat or I think both Tofi and Chris can't necessarily talk, but maybe Isabella can, is just to check that we understand roughly what kind of functionality we're voting on here. The idea is that we would, basically be adding a button here to like allow to delete the volunteer opportunities, but we'd also want to be able to display an undelete button. So this story here is really about having an undelete button available. Do we have any questions on this story? I know that you're not necessarily familiar with the background of the project, but I'm hoping that, for the purposes of the exercise, you might know. Feel free to ask questions in the Slack chat room there, Chris or Tofi. Isabella, feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions about this story. I'll assume we don't have any questions about this story, and that it's reasonably clear. It is fairly straightforward. So let's go ahead and do this process of anonymous voting. So what we're going to do is, in the channel here, we'll type either a 1 or a 2 or a 3 in here, and then we'll see, I'm going to count on 3, 2, 1, go, and then say vote, and then we'll all press return together, and there'll be sort of like a simultaneous voting process. So with 3 being the more complex story and 1 being the simpler, I'm going to put in my vote, and then if we're all ready, so it's a 3 and a 2 and a 1 and a go. Oh, and we've got unanimity there.
The channel.
Say again?
I'm just loading the channel.
Ah, okay. So yes, that's unfortunate. We've got people getting in there. We've got and we've got a general consensus of 2. The idea here, of course, is that if we were, having the idea of voting simultaneously is to try and avoid just like one big mouth person like me saying it's this and everybody agreeing. Is what we really want to do is expose any differences in opinion that we have about this about this story. And if we had differences of opinion, then this would be the point to discuss them. And if there are videos of the sessions we've done over the last 5 days where you can see discussion when people did, if like one person's got a 1, you say, hey, why did you think that? One person's got a 3. Anyway, but we've done that. Yeah, so what that means is we've got the link there. I'm going to pop the link for the video of this into the chat room there. I'm also going to pop, we can see that this is the, we've got the story element. So for those of you who are doing the AV102 course, these are now the links that you need to submit your assignment. And you can see now that what's happened now is actually we have a much better looking backlog now. So this is our backlog for the local support project. We've got lots of pointed stories where people coming dipping in to say, which one might I do? They've got an idea of the estimate of how complex it's going to be, and we also have Pivotal predicting for us when these stories might be ready based upon our historical average of how long it's taken us to deliver stories. Any questions about any of the process there from anyone, either in chat or in audio at all? Did that all make sense? Yeah. All right. Good stuff. There we go. So I mean, really, I think it all comes to the fore if you're doing this regularly in your daily stand-ups. You might have kick-up meetings where you do more voting than not. The interesting thing about this is, as with this project running for 2 years, you can do this all online, completely distributed, and organized projects in this fashion. It all actually sort of works quite remarkably. Yeah, for those of you doing AV102, new materials coming out tonight, and the next phase of things, or what's coming next, you'll just have to wait. So I think that's the stand-up. Unless anybody else has any specific business that they'd like to raise, we will probably move on to business adjourned, which is the main thing is for the Roniners working on the AgileVentures charity site. Chris, my pleasure. Really glad we could sort that out for you. Tofi and Isabella, great to see you. Do feel free to stick around if you have, but I know it's a busy working days for everyone, so jump off if you have to. Unless it's okay, I think we can probably move on to other business. Let's get rid of that. Come back to me. Whoa, here we go. I get very excited sometimes. Sorry, pardon my fuzz, as I say. Is that what I'm talking about? But yeah, so let's go back to Winnie. We put off your question that you had earlier. You were saying is the color scheme of the existing site important?
Right.
Actually, if I just go back to, we'll go back to the screen briefly there. So by the existing site, you mean the AgileVentures site, this one here.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, it's like totally an option. I don't mind I think that the color scheme and so on of this site is okay. It's reasonably nice. I mean, I've been looking at it a lot for the last 2 years. It certainly wouldn't hurt for that to be evolved. I mean, an interesting idea would be to like sort of take one of the colors and do, instead of orange, do a green and a blue, and then have it kind of look. But I don't.
But if it were to look totally different aside from the logo, would that be really upsetting? Or
it would not be upsetting at all. I mean, I think you guys should, in this context, feel unconstrained. Yeah, I think you should like feel free to express yourselves. Like, I mean, really the key. I mean, if we come back to, and I want to find the Google document which we've been working on. Where's that Google document we've been working on? Let's find that. I mean, the key is it comes back to, I would say, and is that now I'm logged into this one? Okay, let's find this one. Like the high-level goals for the site. So really, did I wish it would. I want by the most recent things. Why on earth would I want to see this like this? It's just ridiculous. Show me the most recent folders. Yes, last modified. That's much better, and not the folders. Show me website 2. That's what it's called. Yes, right. Here we go. So, I mean, did we get the very high-level thing here of? Okay, whatever. Yeah. Revamping Krishna's. I thought we kind of like went for. I'd written a. Yeah, I mean, see, this is the top level, So I mean, to an extent, this should be your guiding thing. So like in that question, I mean, it's obviously fantastic for you to check in with me, and I'm always, I will continue to be every day very happy to discuss all of these things. But there's kind of like any of these questions, in principle, should be able to be resolved by coming back to this thing of like, the whole idea is that this is to get more charities involved, is to make more people aware of the work. So I think the better looking the site is, the more professional it looks, the nicer it looks, that's all better. I mean, is there some marginal benefit of it, having the same color scheme and design or related color scheme and design? I don't know. I think, websites and web presences periodically go upgrades and refreshes and so on. I mean, I would be not necessarily, we also have planned, a reworking of this site, which would then potentially look completely different again, and who knows. So yeah, I would. MA is down in 59. No, any of you in MA? Are you at Makers Academy? I'm not at Makers Academy. I don't think we're going to be affected by Makers Academy being down because we're all remote. We're free. We're in the cloud. They can't touch us. Sorry. What was I saying? Yeah. So I would say feel unconstrained. I mean, was it Richard or Parminder? I don't know. Was showing some like alternate designs. I mean, to the extent that you've got the functionality in there, go crazy. Do try. Push the envelope to the extent that you want to, or stick with simple. I mean, it's like, yeah, the core element is that I would say don't tie yourself in knots to get something, crazily radical at the expense of the core functionality, which is the ability to edit and maintain these things. But if you've got the core functionality in there and you want to experiment with alternate ways of doing it, the core thing is this. We want people. The thing about the stakeholders. We want people who are in the third sector. They're charities. They're non-profits. They're the younger ones are Facebook and Twitter. They're of the social media generation. There's lots of things baying for their attention. The world news, the newsletters from Amnesty International. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not one of these people. Maybe we, if you get some mock-up designs, whether it's in Balsamic or whether it's in bits of HTML, and we can start showing them to some of the charity people we know and get reactions from them about whether they're like, oh, this seems nice, this seems good, I know where to find these things, then I think that would be great. It'd be lovely. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions or thoughts or anything at all?
Negative.
Negative. Confirmatory. Something.
I've got a small question. It does probably, I don't even know if you know. What for the logo that's on the website, what font is the writing in? Just
I can categorically say that I don't know
yeah.
the answer to that question. But what I can say to you is that the person who would know the answer to that question is Thomas Ockman, who you may or may not know, and he has also got this AgileVentures profile page. Oh no, it's not a page. It's a repository. Oh no, you can't see my screen. Damn. See, if Google was that intelligent, you could just like decide to show it at that point. It's this. I'll paste the link in here and in the running channel. And did you guys set up the other 10 chat rooms I asked for? Yeah, with different. I want 10 in completely different software, and like I want one to be in Urdu and another one to be in Claymation. And it's just I can't work under these conditions. I need more chat rooms. What are you guys? You guys are like Ronin there. Oh yeah, and I was going to say, yeah, do feel free to like. You're probably more comfortable, I guess, just chatting in your Ronin channel and starting Hangouts the way that you've been doing it through the course by doing like /Hangout or whatever it is in there. But do feel free to move all of your activities to it's gone now to this chat room, the website 2 chat room. On are you guys in here? You are. You're there. And I remember if we got a Josh in there, we have. Yeah, you guys are in there. So you could, just have all of your chat in there. And the advantage of that would be that, as well, I mean, I know you've got Sam Morgan in the other one, but the advantage here is that, like, the other members of AgileVentures, who are also stakeholders for this whole thing, are kind of in here. And so, to the extent that you chat in there, then, I mean, at the very least, feel free to ask questions of Channel in here, or anything that you want. The other thing is that, as I mentioned, so there's also this website too, like there is the actual project within the, it's gone, there it is, here. So if you all click the join button on here, if you wouldn't, I'm now a member, so I can't see the join button, but if you all go there, I'll put that in there as well. I'll put it, more chat rooms, put it there. That's one. There's another one. Ronan, yes. And so if you join that, then in principle you get a nice, you can click on this, start a Hangout on Air button here, and it will automatically paste the link in at least some channels in AgileVentures, and it will be set up with recording enabled, so that you could be recording that process of, if you're doing a pairing session, on something, you could be doing that. And this is the functionality that the mainstream AgileVentures projects use in order to coordinate recording all of their sessions and sharing it with their own groups of developers. Obviously, you've got your own process that you've been using, yeah, okay, Richard, new webcam, yes, fair enough, yes, webcams, we all need new. I recommend buying a Mac if you have a chance. I know they're expensive, it's terrible. Yeah, anyway, just wanted to draw your attention to that stuff that's available there on, he said, waving his hand and you can't see what he's doing, because, so I'm trying to like gesticulate towards this other screen that I have over here, and you just can't see what I'm doing. So yeah, well, I mean, it's all short-term versus long-term. It's like, if you've got a webcam and you're on like Windows or Linux, I mean, Linux is awesome, but I mean, it's all about investing in your future. I mean, and okay, don't get me started. Don't get me started. No, just okay. And now I'm just pressing buttons randomly. That's okay. Let's put the screen away and say, yeah. So yeah, what I was gonna questions there. Was there a question? I'm just now just talking randomly. So you're just like sitting there being quiet and letting me embarrass myself. Okay. I see how this works. But I see that you have filled up, you've kind of put loads of issues into here, which I assume you're probably investigating through a waffle board of some description. And the waffle is working out all right for you guys? It's all okay? Kind of nodding. People are muted. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, I like the way the color, it's all color coordinated on the pivotal tracker. It's not
okay.
Not as colorful on Waffle, but it's
right.
working though.
Okay. Yeah. Ooh. I mean, the other thing you can do is like, you can assign this like to people who are working on it. I guess you're doing all mob coding at the moment, so it's not.
Yeah. Working. Do you know what that size means? The size option in this. When you click that plus button. What does that mean?
This is the voting thing that we were just doing in Pivotal Tracker. So this is a 1-point story, a 2-point story, or a 3-point story. So this you could be doing exactly that, the voting process, that you've just seen it. You've seen us do a couple of times here, and for you, in terms of kind of estimating your stories, you totally could be doing that. Yeah.
Okay.
And you can further consider. No, I agree. The pivotal tracker is it's slightly, it's slicker in some ways, but I think actually from an open source point of view, and in terms of, I mean, after you guys have been working on this, I'm hoping that this project will be handed over, and we're going to have the extended community working on it and contributing to it and so forth. I think this is much better because anybody with a GitHub account can start getting involved. Whereas pivotal tracker, people have to be invited in. They have to be logged in order to submit tickets and bug requests, bug reports. Yeah. So,
can you add more than one collaborator for each waffle task?
I think I have tried that and failed.
Okay.
From you like should be able to do. That's the kind of thing that we should put in as a thing to the what are they called? The waffle people, and say,
waffle people.
Yes, because they're made. They look like waffles, and they walk around trying to avoid being eaten by people with cups of coffee and stuff. But yeah, I think what's interesting is that all of these things. The pivotal tracker looks very different than it did 2 years ago. The amazing thing about all this open source software and is it does get improved upon. But so, did you have anything that you wanted to show me to get feedback on at all at this point? Obviously, you've got some things being done and in progress, and stuff's happening. Is there anything helpful?
Josh, do you still have that whiteboard that you were doing all those mock-up designs for the front end? It'd be interesting to get your thoughts, Sam. If you have any preference. We ultimately voted on one and decided on one, but it'd be good to see what you think, though.
Sure.
I have to warn you, they are badly drawn on my whiteboard on the wall.
I would be disappointed if they weren't.
So I don't know how.
I can see them. Yeah, it's all good. So
this is the one that we ended up using.
Okay, that's the kind of layout. You've got kind of a nav bar and then a left navigation and then a thing in there. Yeah, cool. Is that like a little TV thing? That kind of the bit in the middle where it says four.
It's basically, we had it where a couple where we were just displaying images next to it and then having like descriptions. I really cannot tell if you can actually see.
I can see this as if I was standing next to the whiteboard. I feel it's as if you were in my bedroom with a whiteboard, which is a bit.
If you were in my bedroom with a whiteboard.
Well, I think we're in each other's bedroom at the moment, which is maybe equally disturbing. But yes, yes.
So we had some where it was basically an image, and then have all the information next to it, and then we had one where it was like an image and then have all the information overlaid on top of it. So, and then we had some other variants.
Yeah.
And we ended up with one which is basically a hybrid.
That's great. That looks fine. I mean, I'd say, of course, ideally in the long run, there would be like a clear separation in this CSS and HTML that should that need to be changed, then, it's a question of changing the CSS style sheet rather than fundamentally rebuilding it from scratch. But don't worry too much about that. I mean, that's that's a lovely goal. But yeah, that looks like a perfectly reasonable decision, and you can iterate on that. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. I'm interested also. I think you're I think certainly keeping you guys all in the same headspace is good at the beginning. I think you were saying that Mr. Morgan was advising against splitting into front end and back end teams, which I think is good advice. Although what I would say is that once you're all confident that you've got a shared vision and that you're going in the right direction, is that you can split into sub pairs and work on things. I would say the key thing is that you want to get pair rotation. So for example, if you split into two pairs or two and a three, and one group was working on the database and one was working on some CSS HTML, what you want to make sure is on half daily rotations or a day rotation or whatever, that members of those teams were swapping over. Yeah, what you want to avoid, this does happen to some final team projects, is like two people work entirely on the front end for a week and three people work entirely on the database for a week, and I think that often can lead to problems. So there we go. Cool. All right. Are we done? I am here. I'm at your disposal.
Sorry, could I just get the other name of what Thomas's last name was?
Oh, Thomas Ochman. Yeah. So, and I hope I posted it in several. I mean, this is the AgileVentures profile. You may find. I mean, he's got like what is that? It's Adobe Illustrator files in here that may have the fonts in them, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I mean, Thomas is available on all of the different Slack chat things. I mean, what I'll do in there is I'll say, hey, and he's running Makers Academy Sweden at the moment. The Ronin guys are interested to know the font you used for the first AV site. Can you help them out? I pointed them to. Yeah. So anyway, you're all in that channel and you can follow what's happening there. So cool. All right. Well, unless you want to extract any more value from me, I will pop off and continue trying to automate myself. I've got 17 more takeaway challenges to review, and I'm trying to work out if I can build an AI that will review them for me. And I'm trying to work out which will take longer, to review all the challenges or to build the AI. And it's kind of going. But yeah, if any individual questions do come up, feel free to reach out to me on Slack. Otherwise, again, you see the pattern, yeah? Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m., 3:45 p.m. You can catch me each time, and you guys giving reports back to the community about what you're doing in your projects along the way, very valuable. Really, really, very pleased to have you guys all doing.
Yeah, thanks for this, Sam.
No, you're welcome. Thank you.
And,
And Thomas and Raoul are in the Website 2 channel now, giving you some input on that. So yeah, I'm gonna go off and I think it's time for a cup of coffee. I'm feeling my energy level is kind of starting to go down. It's time for that one cup of coffee that I allow myself during the day.
Double espresso, go for it.
Oh no, that would be naughty.
I want to see the head explode there.
maybe when I have my costume on for the final day, and we'll see. Okay, guys, have fun, and I will check in with you again tomorrow. Yeah, it's good.
All right.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye for now. Where's the button for this thing? How do you turn this?